It's crazy to believe that Call of Duty Zombies has been a thing for 12 years now, and with over 50 zombies maps, there is a lot of content. However, with there being so many maps, you'd be surprised there is a lot of things over the years which have never seen the light of day. So in this video, we're going to drop a few bombshells and go over 15 things removed from Call of Duty Zombies. There is a lot to get through in this video, so I encourage you to watch the entire video free without skipping so you don't miss out on any of these things. If any of these things surprised you, I'd love to know in the comments below, and to make your way back here to the channel, subscribe with the bell. But kicking things off, this is an absolute game changer if it happened, and this was the addition of ambush rounds inside of Transit. Originally planned with Transit is that the bus would have a much more dangerous mechanic to it. As it stands right now, the most dangerous thing is just surviving on it in the later rounds, but there was a time in development where they were planning ambush rounds, which would occur in different ambush zones on the map, and if you entered one of these special ambush zones, there was a 25% chance of an ambush round starting, and during this, the bus would actually break down and hellhounds would start spawning. Now, this already sounds a lot more hectic than the original Transit because it doesn't have a special round. There's no hellhounds on Transit, but the bus would actually break down and hellhounds would start spawning, and this doesn't sound like it would be your normal special dog round. There would be a lot of hellhounds, and upon killing all of them, you would receive a max ammo and the bus would start moving again. Now, because there was only a 25% chance of this happening, this would actually make it pretty random on when this would happen, so it would be very difficult for you to be able to time exactly when this would happen and be fully prepared for it. Would it have made Transit a more complicated experience? Probably, which is why they most likely got rid of it. But similarly, there were also other plans for the Transit bus where it would break down and you'd have to go and collect fuel cans to refill the bus to get it moving again. Like, you're running around enough on that map. I can't imagine having to do that on top. Jumping in on the second thing here is going to be pro versions of our perks in Black Ops 1 Zombies. I know, it sounds insane, and we technically got pro versions of perks in Cold War Zombies, but all the way back in 2010, Treyarch had plans for there to be a pro version of these perks, probably inspired from Modern Warfare 2's perk system. This would allow us to get Quick Revive Pro, Juggernog Pro, and Speed Cola Pro. And there's even icons that exist in the game files that show what these perks icons were going to look like in the pro version. However, unfortunately, we don't have any information on what exactly these pro versions were going to do. But it's crazy to think they were thinking of all of this over 10 years ago before it was properly implemented in Cold War. But staying on the topic of perks, our third thing here is going to be Juggernog in Black Ops 4 Zombies. Now, the removal of this was one of the most polarizing things that Black Ops 4 Zombies did. There was no real explanation from Treyarch on why they removed Juggernog, but instead increased the base health and then added a temporary armor system. Now, in this pre-alpha gameplay of Black Ops 4 Zombies, you can clearly see that Juggernog is there in the HUD, meaning the player chose Juggernog before they went into the map itself. Now, again, we don't know exactly why Juggernog was removed, but there are rumors that the reason why it was removed is because it conflicted with that new armor system that you got when using the specialist weapon. Either way, I don't think Treyarch are going to be removing Juggernog again anytime soon, and it's so wild to think that one of the most exciting parts of the Cold War reveal trailer was seeing and hearing Juggernog return. Now, this next thing is actually pretty sad because I would have loved to have seen this in the game, and we've had no real explanation as to why, but this is multiple outbreak maps from the Ural Mountains that have seemingly been scrapped for no real reason, which is such a shame because it looks fantastic. This is a humongous map which looked to have been built for Warzone, but then for some reason wasn't used for Warzone, but instead was cut into individual maps for Fireteam as well as Outbreak. But there was leaked gameplay and screenshots that show this entire map, and most of these cut areas were pretty much finished, which included Summit from Black Ops 1, which was renamed to Weather Station, Stadium from Black Ops 1, which was a DLC map and a fan favorite, as well as some new areas called Battery and Mines. Battery could be a homage to the Battery DLC map from World at War, and Mines sounds very reminiscent to what we got in the Verdansk 84 map with there being mines. Now, without this leaked gameplay and screenshots, we would have never known these existed, but it's a real shame to know that they do exist, they seem nearly finished, and they never saw the light of day. Coming in this video is a very sad what if one, and this is an alternate ending to Revelations. Within the code of Revelations, there are references and scripts that were never used that tie to a ending involving the summoning key being packed into a rocket. Yeah, that's right. There was supposed to be a completely different ending to Revelations that started out with references to a rocket panel being opened and then the rocket being repaired. Following on from that, the next steps involved the summoning key being Pack-a-Punch. So there was going to actually be an upgrade where the Pack-a-Punch would take the summoning key and turn it into something even better, which is insane to me. And then it ends with the summoning key being put in the rocket itself. Now in the end, the summoning key gets thrown into the ghost of Sophia, which ends up destroying the Shadow Man's protective bubble, and then us getting the ending that we did. Thinking about it, once we throw the summoning key into Sophia, that's really all we see from it for that ending. We all know how integral the summoning key is, and if we look at the Revelations director's cut trailer, we see the final shots of the summoning key floating in space. So I don't know if that's Treyarch's way of having the ending they wanted in a trailer rather than actually in the map. But thinking about it, it could be a similar thing to what we did on Moon and Horizon Track, launching rockets to maybe destroy the Shadow Man. But I think the main reason why we didn't get this is because Treyarch were actually helping out Infinity Ward with Infinite Warfare. So potentially there was just a little bit of clash on timings. The Revelations had a lot more potential than what we got, but it was still an incredible map. When it comes to true potential, this next thing is going to make a lot of us really sad, and it's the fact that back in the day during development of Black Ops 3 Zombies, Treyarch actually planned the idea of having customizable outfits in Black Ops 3 Zombies for every character. That means all of the Shadows of Evil characters and Primus, they would all have different body options and colors that could be changed by earning outfit XP. Now, as to what degree could be customized, I don't know, because this came from a pre-alpha screenshot of the game. Each individual character had their own XP levels for outfits, and there were multiple outfit levels. It's funny because Call of Duty Vanguard has something very, very similar to this. So imagine if they got inspiration from this idea that Treyarch wanted to do in Zombies all that time ago. But yeah, there was tons of potential for us to unlock completely new outfits, potentially different hats for characters, and we finally got something similar to this in Black Ops 4 Zombies, but it was just face paints. Yeah, they weren't great. But moving on to our next one is actually going to be a Infinite Warfare Zombies related thing removed. Now, we all love zombies in Spaceland, and we all love the wonder weapons on the map being those pistols. But did you know that originally there was going to be a second upgrade for all of these pistols, as the names for these upgrades are left in the game's code? So we have the Shredder, the Head Cutter, the Discord, and the Face Melter. They're all great in their own right, but when upgraded, the Shredder would have become Hell's Kitchen, Head Cutter would have become Bloody Mary, the Discord would be called the Tasmanian Turnstile, and the Face Melter would have been called the 5th of November. Now, that last one is a reference to Guy Fawkes Night here in the UK, which is November 5th, which we also call Bonfire Night, where people let off a load of fireworks, and that's exactly what the wonder weapon does. Now, for this next thing removed, it's weird because it's been in some Zombies games, but it's been missing in others, and this is the difficulty modes were planned to originally be in Black Ops 3 Zombies. In Black Ops 2, the difficulties were easy and original. Easy just made the weapons do more damage, zombies didn't sprint till round 15, and Easter eggs were disabled. Black Ops 3 originally planned to shake this up with 3 difficulty options, being Survivor, Hunter, and Exterminator. Survivor is described as welcome to the aftermath, time to get your hands dirty, whilst Exterminator says take on the worst dragged from the depths of hell, your chances don't look good. Not much is known besides those descriptions what the difficulty modes would have done, but I could imagine it would be similar to what we got in Black Ops 4 with the hardcore and realistic difficulty modes, reducing the player health, zombies sprinting earlier, stuff like that. Would you have wanted to see that in Black Ops 3 Zombies, and But do any of you that play Black Ops 4 Zombies regularly even bother trying the different difficulty modes? I'd like to know in the comments below. But this next amazing thing removed is probably one of the saddest out of anything we could talk about in this video, because there was a cut Easter egg quest where you could play as a chicken in Revelations. Yeah, if playing as a spider on Zetsubo no Shima wasn't weird enough, there was a cut Easter egg with a chicken coop in the spawn room of Revelations that would have enabled you to play as a chicken, as there's icons that still exist in the map files of the chicken in the heads-up display, being able to activate that with the press of a D-pad button. Revelations provided a lot of great entertainment and a lot of new exciting things, but I think playing as a chicken probably would have overstepped its welcome as just being the greatest thing to ever happen in zombies. But for real, no one knows why this Easter egg was cut, but for some reason parts of it still exist within the code. I would have liked to have seen what would have happened with this. I genuinely think it would have been awesome. But on the topic of Revelations, for this next one is that Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man have some cut announcer quotes. Now, I don't know why these were cut, but it gives me the indication that there was going to be a lot more bigger things planned for the map. Some really awesome moments where they were going to be taking control and they would have announced the power-ups, which would have been incredible. Just to see like a Dr. Monty versus Shadow Man fighting for power to control what's going on, I think would have been absolutely incredible.
Max ammo, bonus points, Carpenter, kaboom. Max ammo, insta-kill, fire sale, minigun.
The potential for how far they could have gone on Revelations is absurd, and it's a shame that we'll never see it. Coming up next is going to be some even more potential to Transit, and that was that Transit was going to originally have more areas to travel to, such as a lava lake and a giant power factory. And we can know that this existed through some leaked images of the pre-alpha version of Black Ops 2 Zombies, which showcased this huge overview of the Transit map that had some new areas. There was also a motel. And thanks to these images from Prototype Preservation, you can see the overview map is huge, and it's a completely different layout to what we would have been used to with Transit, where we can see we have the main town in the middle there. We've got that huge power factory off there, and then we can see El Rancho Motel vacancy there, which seems to be a completely separate area between the diner and the farm. But not only that, apparently there was another version of Transit made that was separate and set before the events of Moon and before the Earth was blown up. And this overview map we're looking at could potentially be a version of Transit before the Earth was blown up. And my God, if they ever remake Transit, I would love for that to be a feature in the map. I would absolutely be so happy. We're getting near the end now, but there are still a few other interesting things. And this is one on Cold War Zombies Die Maschine. And according to a massive leak dumped by Nanikos, where pretty much everything was correct apart from this one detail, Nikolais Glove was apparently going to be on the map somewhere, and I truly believe that that could have been a thing, just because we look at Firebase Z and Samantha Max's outfit coming back out the Dark Ether with all of those references to the Primus characters, but there was never any explanation or additional context as to what happened there. Die Maschine is the only map where we go into the Dark Ether, so there was a great chance that at some point, maybe as a little throwback Easter egg, that you could have found Nikolais Glove in the Dark Ether version of Die Maschine. Sticking on the topic of Die Maschine, for our second to last feature here is going to be that Nakhda and Ton at some point did exist in Cold War Zombies. Adding on to that leaked post on Reddit by Nanikos, he also mentioned that by completing the main Easter egg of Die Maschine, you're apparently going to be rewarded by loading into a standalone survival map version of Nakhda and Ton. And in some recent concept art that was posted by GadgetBot Productions on ArtStation, it showed that at some point during development in late 2019, full upstairs of Nakhda and Ton was actually in-game, complete with a Juggernog location in the upstairs, that classic grenade location being swapped out to an S-Cargo pistol wall buy, and that iconic balcony being there as well, which is absolutely different to the final product in Die Maschine, which is entirely different. It's a real shame this hasn't seen the light of day, because I think even a Nakhda and Ton in Vanguard Zombies would go down pretty well for a round-based experience. But I think people would agree that during the year of Cold War Zombies, there was some pretty quiet moments for Zombies content, and I think a little bonus map like Nakhd inside of there would have been a great way to keep players occupied during the wait for for a new round-based map. And our last and final feature removed in this video is going to be factions from Black Ops 4 Zombies. It's almost a meme at this point, factions. This was a feature that was supposed to release within Black Ops 4 and was first announced at San Diego Comic-Con in 2018. Factions was announced as a full season of 12 unique challenge events across all zombie maps and game modes that would reward players with never before seen character customization loot. Factions were also supposed to add another dimension to the Chaos storyline, as players could choose to side with 4 different factions: Bloodfaith, Tempest Novi, Dustborn, or the First Legion. The factions would expand and flesh out the Zombies universe, with each event culminating the factions-based narrative, with Jason Blundell explaining that it would add a new layer to the Zombies experience, questioning who do you stand with and what does that mean as you progress along that path. And it's sad that even within the game files of Black Ops 4 Zombies, there was calling cards that existed for completing Season 1 of the factions callings, but of course, that never ever came into the game. And a whole year after the release of Black Ops 4, the All the Facts Dark Ops was replaced by the One of Us Dark Ops, which required half the zombie Dark Ops to be acquired rather than all of them, which would have included this unreleased factions mode. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's honestly so much fun looking over all the history of zombies and making videos like this. So if you want to see more and you've got any particular requests, please let me know in the comments below. And more importantly, if you enjoy this and want to see more, just leave a like rating. It takes a second and it lets me know that you really enjoyed it. You can check out my last video on your screen right now and I'll be with you in just a few moments.